Is it really possible to build your brand in a small town? Well, today I'm here with Miss
Melissa Orta.
In the last 4 months, she sold over $10 million worth of real estate, got over 4 million views. So the only question is,
What's your excuse? This house is $300,000. This is one of the most popular models that I have in Lehigh. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a little over 1,600 square feet. Lehigh Acres provides value. It's still giving people the American dream, which I think so many people think that's no longer possible. When I entered this market, I know that there was already established players in the market, but none of them were doing social media. Not one. So I was like, oh, here we go.
Off camera, she's really funny. I mean, the whole day I'm laughing. And when I watch her content, everything has a flair of who she is, and she's winning at a level that's extremely rare. Lehigh Acres, it's probably a place that most people have never heard of.
No, they have not. I chose Lehigh Acres because I feel like it was an untapped market. The more research I did on it, the more I realized that, wow, this is the next big boom. They're building everywhere here. They're building left and right here.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign. It's a changing community and it's a thriving community.
The fact that she consistently gets hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of shares on a regular house, I had to know what the heck is going on.
Content has completely changed my life. It has honestly grown my brand to levels that I never even thought imaginable.
When I started Studio 910, and I remember seeing her make content on her iPhone, and then before you know it, she's sitting at 40,000 followers. Lehigh Acres is real America.
There's about 130,000 people here. There's not much to do here. There was a point in time, like 5 years ago in Lehigh, all there was here was a Walmart. We just got a Chipotle and a Starbucks this year. So to think that you can build a local brand in a small town, that's just not true. Like, I am living proof of it. You could.
This is one of those things where if it can work in Lehigh Acres, it can really work anywhere. It's not like you're in Georgia and there's like trees or, you know, like there's mountains in the background. In New York, in the Adirondacks, and there's like lakes around. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, quite literally, she's working with a Taco Bell. Like, this is the famous Taco Bell.
One of my first ever viral videos was highlighting Taco Bell, Popeyes, Starbucks, and highlighting Little Caesars. Imagine going from your front door to nearby conveniences in under a minute. And that video totaled over 300,000 views.
This is so awesome. It blows my mind. It really does. Like, my mind is blown.
All there is food trucks and main roads that take you to Fort Myers. This is the reality of like 90% of America.
$10 million in the last 4 months? Are you kidding me? In a town where not a house is selling for over $1 million. When she opened the door and introduced herself, it all made sense because she's optimistic and she's presentable on camera.
Before I did real estate, I used to work at a bank, and I had this client that would come in like the first of the month and like deposit a huge sum of money. And I was like, hey, Danny, like, what do you do for work? Oh, I run like a bunch of like Section 8 properties. And he told me one time, he was like, you should really become a real estate agent. You just have a way of talking to people that I feel like you would do great in the field. And I was like, well, let me look into that. Well, let me show you some of my best content. So you got this one right here. This is why this location is on everyone's radar. That one went super viral. It got about 280,000 views online. And it was just talking about how the house is located near a very busy street that gets you in and out of Fort Myers. And I targeted the buyers that I know purchase here. The majority of them work in Fort Myers. So I explained to them, hey, look at that proximity. So you'll be at work super easy. And then another one of my favorites, honestly, was this one that I did. That one was so funny because I was highlighting how the house was just a little bit further away. So it's like you're escaping the matrix and like the busyness of life. And then there was another one that I did that was also location based that also got 180,000 views, which I had a timer in my hand. And I was like, this is how long it takes to get everywhere from this house. Started the timer, not even 2 minutes, and you could see the timer.
These got so many shares. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of followers, but where to next?
We're gonna go to Azucar, have some Cuban food.
Who's cooking it?
A Cuban grandma, more than likely.
Is it really a Cuban grandma?
Yeah.
So if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, I can't build a brand. Look at people building their businesses, right? Look at out of the back of a car. Selling honey and eggs. There's nothing sexy. There's no beach. There's no Miami skyline. But think about it. If you're watching this in LA, New York City, somebody's beating you in a town that's very quiet.
My first year in real estate, I don't think I made more than $15,000. I had no money. I put myself in credit card debt to make content. Today I woke up, I called 100 people. Not one wanted me to list their house. And there were some months where like I would make no money, just hoping and praying. I had no other option. So when I first started real estate, I shot just like a regular phone video on this house, and the house like didn't sell for over like 2 years. And that's when I came up with the idea of like, let's showcase that you could have horses here. That video went super viral. And honestly, like 3 months later, like the house sold. This home right here, the buyer actually found it on a TikTok video that I did that actually went pretty viral. And then that same week, she submitted an offer, and she like texted me via TikTok, and she was like, I love your videos. I'm always seeing this. You do such a great job. People just calling me like every day saying that they either saw me on Instagram or they saw me on TikTok or they saw me on YouTube, because I've positioned myself as the go-to local expert. Look, it's me again.
Hey, there she is. She's everywhere.
Telling you can't escape me in Lehigh. I'm everywhere. I had this videographer call me one time. They were like, yeah, I saw a sign that said Lehigh Acres, and they were like, Melissa. Sometimes even think I know more than the mayor of Lee County. I was with him 2 weeks ago. I'm like telling him about everything.
I like to say that, we're not here to convert people. Somebody who believes in marketing will spend on marketing. And so she believes in marketing, so she does marketing, and she gets the result.
Winning, then losing. Losing, winning, winning, winning. Like that's how it is with content too. Because I think that's another misconception that a lot of agents have. They think, okay, I just spent this amount of money right now on this video. I better go viral right now. It didn't go viral. I'm done. My slogan is actually, I don't just list homes, I launch them. I launch a whole playbook. I get the videos. I have a huge network here. It wasn't just buy this home in Lehigh Acres for $300,000. No, this is why you should buy a $300,000 home in Lehigh Acres and why this is a good investment for you.
What made you get chickens?
Because I love the eggs.
This is so cool. This is really what I feel like behind the brand is like really unique, because you really see how somebody lives.
Hey, we got 3 eggs.
Check this out. There's no Whole Foods in Lehigh Acres. Why would you need a Whole Foods?
Real organic eggs. Even has the feather.
Everything on social media is just scroll. You see people in this little vertical thing, but there's real people with real stories, real life, and real eggs.
I lived in Cuba until I was 8 years old. Didn't have access to internet or to phones or even books. There was a lot of government control. No power, no food, no water, no access to healthcare. My childhood and those experiences is what has led me to where I am right now, because even me being here talking to you right now in and of itself is a miracle. But here, growing up was extremely difficult. Like I would say I had to give up my childhood. Life didn't necessarily become easier. It just became possible. When my mom and I first got here, we lived in like somebody's garage. I owe it to one, my parents, and to myself to shoot for the stars, because they gave up so much for me. And I don't know how I'll ever repay them. My dad gave up seeing his daughter grow up just so I can have a future. He stayed in Cuba. My mom left her whole family behind just so I can have a future, and worked multiple jobs. Leaving my dad was the hardest part for me, because my dad is my best friend. I'll never forget, I have this vivid memory of me in the airport, and I'm going through the gate, and I just look back, and he's outside with the window, and he's just looking at me, and I want to go back so badly. And my mom just turns my head. She's like, you gotta go. So the fact that I'm here, how could I waste that opportunity? It's obviously for a reason, and it's for God's purpose.
There's a Bible verse that says, godliness with contentment is great gain. I can abound, I can be balling. I can be abased, meaning things can be hard. But godliness with contentment is great gain. And I would say that, she's one of the most content people I've ever met.
I wake up every day and the first thing I do is sit on my swing and like talk to Jesus. And at night, after a whole busy day, I sit on my swing and I talk to Jesus. I honestly think that swing is like magical. In that swing, I can connect to like the collective consciousness.
Wow, this is so cool. This is like the biggest yard I've seen in Florida. You bought this house when you're 24?
Mm-hmm.
That's really young to be buying a house.
Yeah. My yard is such a vibe. There's so many trees.
It's such a vibe. You don't even want to leave it.
There's no other option but to get on camera now. Like if all the biggest brands in the world are on social media, what makes you think you can build one without it?
For somebody who's apprehensive about starting their brand, I would say that time is really running out. Start today. Because before you know it, some Melissa's going to pop up and you will be years behind if you just keep waiting.